Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of In the Round with Andrew Taylor and Lee. We are here today. It has been a little while since we've been back, but you know what? This is a very special episode today, so we had to take our time and make sure that this stuff and the production was absolutely perfect. I've been in the radio a long time, so I'm a stickler for this kind of stuff, and I wanted to make sure the show was absolutely great because I am such a huge fan. We will get into that here very shortly. But right now, I'd like to introduce the former tax advisor to Richard M. Nixon, Lee Tonin. Lee, how you doing today?
Invest in corn, and I don't mean on the cob. I mean in futures. That's what I always told old Tricky Dick over there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he never listened to me. The kid from Whittier.
You know. But how you been, man? How's everything going?
Man, I've missed being in the studio. We've been off a couple weeks due to production stuff, and then I think a little bit of just taking a break and getting ready for this show that we're doing today.
We had other stuff to do too, traveling and everything. So we got,
man of the world
life stuff. Yeah, it's whenever somebody asks me about show business and they're like, "Hey, you got any advice for anybody that wants to get into show business?" You know what my first thing is? Don't. I'm just kidding.
What was that? What's that old saying? How to get rich in the music business. Practice, strike oil.
Yep, exactly. The problem is like being in the entertainment industry in general is you're kind of, there is no 9 to 5 really. You're on all the time. It is what it is. Like you have to do stuff all the time. There's no real downtime. So when we do get a chance to take a break, it is much needed.
It's always fun to hang out, man, especially with you.
Yep. So, it's I hope everybody's doing good out there, man. The U.S. just went through an election. We won't dive into that because this isn't that platform for that. So.
We don't want to get kicked off social media.
That too. So, they're out there policing pretty hard on stuff. So whatever. Anyways.
Hey, congratulations to the new president and good luck.
Yeah. Anyways.
Leave it at that.
Today, we are going to do a special spotlight episode, and we've done these in the past before. Our last one was for Eddie Van Halen.
I like these.
Yeah, so these are always cool because we get to focus on a certain person's career, an artist, a band, whatever it may be.
You always learn something that you didn't know about the person.
We really try to grab stuff that isn't going to be like the normal stuff that you would hear in a typical. Yeah, we try to really dig deep, and we don't really bring up negative stuff, about their
What's the point?
lives. Yeah, and everybody knows that stuff, so there's no need for that.
I believe if you already have an opinion formed on somebody, a couple monkeys with microphones isn't going to change your outlook on this.
I agree, absolutely. So, but before we do all that, before we really get started into today's show, we're going to pause for a little music break here real quick, and we will be right back. So stay tuned, folks. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are back from that little music break there. Try to break the show up a little bit here for you, but let's get right into it, man. We have our odd news segment, and let me tell you, we have hell of a stories today, man. These are crazy.
I'm looking forward to this.
The first headline reads, and this happened on January 22nd, so this is 2 days ago. This happened in Chicago. Headline reads, airplane wheel crashes down in Chicago neighborhood. Authorities in Chicago confirmed a wheel fell off a small plane over the city and landed in the front yard of a resident's home. The Chicago Department of Aviation said a single-engine PC-12 plane was noticed shooting off sparks as it landed Thursday evening at O'Hare International Airport. We've been there.
Uh-huh. recently.
After it safely came to a stop, officials noticed the landing gear assembly from the left side of the aircraft was completely gone.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, so that's pretty serious shit, man. I mean, that can.
I wonder if
really
they knew it was missing. They must not have, because the airport would have been. I bet the pilots probably didn't know it was missing.
Yeah, probably not. So they couldn't report it if they didn't know.
Yeah.
So
Quick thinking on the pilot's part to think how hard it'd be to control that plane with missing one of the tripods.
landed safely. Yeah. So I mean, and nobody got. It sounded like nobody got hurt. So. Police, meanwhile, responded to a Jefferson Park neighborhood on reports of an airplane landing gear having fallen on the residential area. Neighbors said the wheel made a loud noise as it crashed to the ground in a resident's front yard between a house and another home. Nobody was injured by the wheel, and there was no reports of significant property damage.
Well, that's good, because that could have been tragic had it landed on a car
outside or something.
You ever see those videos like on YouTube or what's it called, Chive?
Yeah.
Where they like the guys at the gas pump, and then all of a sudden a big truck tire comes blazing by him or something.
Just that your ticket was pulled that day, man. You know what I mean? Like if
That's why you should always be aware of your surroundings.
Always for that kind of reason. That's true.
You should always stay vigilant. It's hard to, with this day and age, because you get tied up with other stuff,
or doing stuff. Yeah,
absolutely. And who the hell's expecting an airplane tire to fall out of the sky?
It could happen, man. It could happen. The FAA and the National Transportation Safety Board said they have opened an active investigation into the incident. So obviously, and they do a pretty thorough job on these things. I mean, we watch air disasters quite often.
They figure out basically what exactly happened.
Down to the T, and
well, so 99% of the time they can. They still ain't found that one that landed in the ocean yet.
Yeah, that seems a little shady if you ask me, but what do I know? I'm just a guy with a microphone. So here we go. Next one. You like to ride motorcycles and street bikes.
I am a biker.
Yes, and you used to ride dirt bikes and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to get your opinion on this and how you guys perceive this and what you think of it as an idea. Headline reads, inventor unveils airbag jeans to protect motorcyclists in crashes. And this was about 2 days ago. They had this story released as a designer for safety equipment for motorcyclists unveiled his latest invention, jeans fitted with airbags to protect leg injuries in crashes.
Well, I think it's
to prevent, not protect.
I mean, it's one of those. This is how protective equipment is viewed by people who ride most people who ride motorcycles. Yes. Is whenever I ride, I always put on my crash jacket, and I usually just wear jeans, but I try not to wear in shorts or flip flops, and I always wear my helmet, of course, because mostly it's safer.
Correct.
And I don't like the feel of the air in my ears. Okay. So that's why I like wearing a helmet. Plus, I can put my Bluetooth in my helmet and I can hear it. And having music while you're riding is a game changer.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. Coming from when you used to ride as a kid, and you didn't have any of that.
Yeah,
it's in your head.
And then I can also use my phone while I have my helmet on. But that's the issue that you run into with this kind of stuff is that most people don't want to take the time to do that.
No, absolutely.
But I'd like to see how they work.
But you should dress for the fall too.
That's what they say. It's called survive the slide.
Yeah. So
and if anybody that's ever had road rash, man, it is painful, man.
Yeah, it's the worst. So Moses Shah Rivar, who has been designing motorcycle safety jeans since partnering with Harley Davidson Sweden 16 years ago. His latest invention uses similar technology to airbag-equipped vests that are currently on the market for protecting a rider's chest, back, and neck in a crash. Only one prototype of the airbag inside Sweden AB jeans currently exists, but Moses is in the process of getting the jeans certified to European health and safety standards and hopes to bring them to market by 2022.
Which, just so you know, I know a lot of people think that European standards are so much more extreme or better than American. In the motorcycle safety protection equipment, that's not true. Because when I took my car to go race it out at the Wild Horse Pass, my helmet has got an EU safety rating on it, which in America it's called Snell. Mm-hmm. And Snell standards are a ton higher than the EU one is.
Gotcha. Another interesting story here. I've always wanted to do this just to see if it worked, but actually this is really cool. So headline reads, teen's message in a bottle travels 1,200 miles in 2 years. So this was on January 20th. The story goes, a message in a bottle that a Washington State teenager dropped into the ocean while sailing in the South Pacific has been found 2 years later floating 1,200 miles to Papua New Guinea.
Oh, that's awesome. And somebody picked it up, huh?
Yeah, so Nikki of Battleground said she was 17 years old when she and her family were sailing in the South Pacific. On January 8th, 2019, she tossed a message in a bottle into the ocean to commemorate crossing the equator on the way to Marshall Islands. Uh-huh. That's really cool, actually.
Yeah.
We kind of did it as a commemorative, hey, we're crossing the equator kind of moment.
And we're littering.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. You don't want these environmentalists getting a hold of it. You gotta be careful. Everybody's so touchy now, man. It's just you gotta be careful.
You gotta watch out. It's a message in a bottle.
So the bottle was found 2 years later by Stephen Amos, a ranger with the Conflict Island Conservation Initiative. I bet he wasn't happy about this.
I bet he was amazed. That's pretty neat.
He was cleaning litter from a beach on the island off of Papua New Guinea. And for it to land here was pretty amazing because we have so many friends that work here, you know, so many connections, so many great memories. So that's what she said, you know, so they know people over there.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I always thought it was neat, like, you know, back in the old days where they would show a guy like on a deserted island.
Yeah,
and, you know,
a bottle float up.
And he would throw the bottle out, and, you know, but kind of on the same note as this, I was talking to our good buddy Eric in Vegas a couple days ago, and I did not know this, but you know those container ships that come out of like China that have all the boxes on them?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if people are aware of this, but they lose thousands of those every year.
Yeah, they fall.
They fall off.
Yeah.
And now it's gotten so bad in them shipping lanes now that a lot of those boxes, those big giant
containers,
sea containers,
the steel,
they don't sink. Some of them
float.
Some of them
they
float.
Get
they get buoyant. And
oh
they
my
float.
God, that's gonna be insane.
Yeah, and you've got people in these that
like
do
pirates.
These, no, not necessarily pirates. People that are race. They have this race that goes around the world.
Yeah,
and these guys have these multi-million-dollar speed. Like sailboats,
running boats
that they have to equip now with sonar to find them. Because think if you were going 50, 60 knots and you hit that thing smack on,
you're done.
You would blow the boat up.
Yeah, you're done.
So, I mean, it is actually a big problem.
So to add on to this story about the whole conservation thing, right? She comments on it and she says, as far as it getting found by a conservation group, I have to say at first I was a little guilty. I was like, oh no, I probably shouldn't have thrown a bottle in the water, but I figured it was helpful that it was glass.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. They didn't seem to be mad. So
well, I guess if you don't have 50 million people a day throwing bottles in, the oceans are big, man. So.
Yeah, but I get it. We should try our best to.
Well, yeah, I mean, some of the stuff they show that's going on with the trash in the seas, it's pretty disgusting, man.
Absolutely, but Hey,
what are you going to do?
I didn't go to college.
Yeah, I don't know what the answer is here, man.
So, next story here, moving on. This is a great one, and this is hilarious because if you've ever owned a dog before, any animal, this is great, especially dogs. Man spends $400 to find out limping dog was imitating its owner.
He was emulating the owner.
Yes, a British man spent about $400 to have a veterinarian examine his dog's limp. But it turned out the canine was just imitating his owner, which had a broken ankle. Russell Jones of London said he noticed after his ankle was broken that his dog Billy was keeping one of his front paws raised while walking, doing the three-legged walk. And Jones posted a video to Facebook showing the dog hopping next to him as he walks with the use of crutches. Jones said he spent about $400 to have a veterinarian examine Billy and take x-rays of his apparent injured leg. But the doc said he was unable to find anything wrong with Billy. So the veterinarian told Jones his dog was imitating the way he walks with a broken ankle. And Jones said Billy had been limping since the day after his ankle injury.
Well,
that's pretty.
That's weird. I mean,
the dog's taking notice.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? There's so much about these animals, and I don't pretend to know a lot about animals.
Yeah.
But like I can't remember what we were watching where the guy was saying that the dogs pick up on your vibe. So if you get high strung or pissed off, the dog gets. So totally. I think it's kind of I guess it could be plausible.
Oh, absolutely. So. This next story here, we're gonna bring it down for a moment, and we gotta get a little serious here because we lost an absolute legend in the broadcasting world industry, entertainment industry in general. A man that I've known my entire life on TV,
probably three times over your life.
That's what I mean. Well, I can remember this man so far back as to when he never didn't look like an older man to me, as a kid and all that. And he was a great interviewer and stuff. And of course, I'm sure you know who we're talking about. He passed away yesterday. Rest in paradise, Mr. Larry King.
Yeah, it's a shame.
The longtime CNN host who became an icon through interviews with countless newsmakers and sartorial sensibilities has died at age 87.
He truly was one of the best interviewers there was.
Absolutely. He did a
His
great
interviews
job.
always were good.
Yeah, and he asked questions that were... I like Larry's style of being short and concise and direct with questions. He didn't have these long, drawn-out shit.
He had a good style. I mean, he was... from what I've seen about him, what other people have said about him, and stuff, they said he was actually a pretty funny guy.
Yeah.
He had a pretty good sense of humor.
On Conan, he was great.
I remember being a little kid watching him and thinking, God, this guy seems so serious
all the time.
Yeah. But they said he was actually pretty good.
Absolutely.
The story Craig Ferguson said about him farting in the studio.
Yeah.
He said it was one of the things he actually did.
Yeah.
Just to make people uncomfortable around him.
Probably. Well, and he always used to I go back to his line of questioning. He said he did that intentionally because he short, direct questions always prompted true, genuine answers.
Yeah. It's harder for someone to
stumble around and
beat
try
around
the bush. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've seen some people that actually got pretty
upset
or disturbed.
Jerry Seinfeld, one of them.
That was a good one when he asked him about the show being canceled.
Yeah, I never got canceled.
And Jerry always comes across as kind of being pompous, anyways.
Well, very kind of arrogant.
Yeah, and I've always thought that. I've never been. I'm going to be honest to you right now. I've never been a big fan of Jerry Seinfeld.
But
I didn't watch the show.
But not to knock him or the work that he's done.
Good with the success.
Yeah, man. I mean, hats off to him.
And I got to see Jerry when he was a very young comedian.
Coming back into Larry King, King hosted Larry King Live on CNN for over 25 years, interviewing presidential candidates, celebrities, athletes, famous, anybody who was anybody, and everyday people too.
Oh yeah,
on his show. He retired in 2010 after taping more than 6,000 episodes of his show. A statement was posted on his Facebook accounts announcing the passing. His son Chance confirmed King's death Saturday morning.
Who is he?
And it was stated, with profound sadness, we announce the death of our co-founder, host, and friend Larry King, who passed away this morning at age 87 in Los Angeles, California.
Yeah, and then he was also very, very married a lot.
Yes.
What was it, 11 times?
I don't know.
He married one lady twice. I know that. I think it was 10 or 11 times. It was a lot.
For 63 years across radio, television, and digital media, Larry's many thousands of interviews and awards and global acclaim stand as a testament to his unique and lasting talent as a broadcaster. You get those certain people in that industry that come along, and they will never be forgotten.
Larry King, Regis Philbin.
Walter Cronkite.
Regis Philbin, who we also lost last year, And,
but not that Geraldo guy. Showing us stuff where there's nothing there.
I liked her. You know what? I've gotten to like Geraldo
I'm just yanking his chain. I like
over the years than I did back when I was younger. But, we also got another icon that is very sick that we probably won't have for this, Rush Limbaugh.
Absolutely. You gotta, whether you like the man or not, he's an icon.
He's had enormous success,
Absolutely.
man.
So
I always wonder who replaced these guys.
It's the same with Howard Stern. When I got into radio, that was being on a rock and roll morning show. That man's the guy who paved the way for all that stuff to be funny and stuff.
One of the first shock jocks
and to be edgy and all that. Yeah.
I used to really love Howard's show when he was on in New York, and then at around 2000. Around the year 2000, it just took such a serious change that it was so sad. I could never really.
It's when shows get
listen to him anymore.
One thing I can say, and this is why I always took a shine to Johnny Carson and The Tonight Show, is when you can have a show and do a show and not alienate your fan base by doing political stuff and all that. And he interviewed political people and stuff, but there was never a divide, and that's how I think entertainment should be for the most part.
I think so. I think it should be monotonous.
Larry King too could fall into that right as well.
Absolutely. Why would you pick a side and publicly announce it?
Yeah.
When you're going to alienate half the country.
Did you know Larry interviewed every president from Gerald Ford all the way up to Obama?
Yeah, I imagine that would be true.
So, I had to throw this in there. He is an absolute legend. And, anything you want to say before we get out of here for a break real quick?
Nope. Rest in peace, Larry King. And like I said, it's these older icons that are passing away, you may want to get a chance to review their work or something, man.
Oh, absolutely. Everything's on YouTube, man.
Yeah.
People have well documented this stuff.
Because once the stuff is gone, as they say, you can't get the stuff no more, man.
Exactly. Absolutely. All right, folks. We're going to head off, hear a little bit of music from us. We'll be right back with the show. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking around through that short little musical break. We are going to get right into today's topic, and we included the Just the Facts segment in with the Spotlight episode today, but this Just the Facts segment is all about Robin Williams, because that's who we're talking about today, is Robin Williams. It's a spotlight on
Mr. Williams.
you know.
Mork.
So let's get right into the Just the Facts segment here, and I have some really interesting stuff I pulled out here, and the first one. On September 30th, 1988, the Space Shuttle Discovery STS-26 crew started its day with a wake-up call from Robin, imitating his character from the 1987 film Good Morning Vietnam. Good morning, Vietnam!
So what did he say?
That's what he said.
Oh, good morning, Vietnam?
Yeah, and woke him up on the space shuttle.
Okay.
So, what a cool thing to be able to do. Like, hey, you want to wake up the space crew today?
Absolutely. And what year was that?
1988.
Okay.
So that's awesome. That was about a year or two, maybe a year or two after that movie, I think.
Yeah.
It was around there, yeah.
Yeah, that's neat.
That was a great movie, too. That's one of my favorites.
He could have also used the thing that he did in Mork. He could have said, nano.
We'll get to that here in a little bit, too. I got a really interesting fact about that one, but we'll get to that here in a little bit. The next fact I have here, and I remember this happening as a kid. I was about coming out of elementary school into middle school when this happened. He formed a friendship with Coco the gorilla. In 2001, Williams visited Coco at the Gorilla Foundation in Northern California, and the two had seemed to hit it off. Some way, somehow, just trying to communicate. And the caregivers had shown her one of his movies, and she recognized him immediately, knew who Robin was in the movie and all that. On the day that Robin died, the foundation shared the news with Coco, and she reportedly fell into sadness. And this gorilla had just died last year, too. So it's kind of interesting thing.
Yeah, that's another one of those animal mystery things that you got.
You never
right
know
there.
what they're actually thinking
Absolutely.
on that end.
Well, it's hard to know what their comprehension
process is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was really interesting. Now you just mentioned Mork. Mork and Mindy. Yeah. Everyone knows Mork was a character that was on Happy Days originally. As a
few episodes, wasn't it?
Here and there, yeah. So, Robin actually wasn't producer's first choice to play Mork on Mork and Mindy. A different actor was set to play Mork for the February 1978 Happy Days episode My Favorite Orkin, which introduced the alien character to the world. The original actor quit, and producer Gary Marshall came to the set in a panic and asked if anyone knew a funny Martian. Can anybody do this role? Does anybody know anybody? And somebody got in touch and put Robin over there. They hired Robin, and then for the audition for Mork and Mindy, Robin went in, and when he was asked to take a seat, sat on his head upside down, and immediately was offered the gig.
Which was a signature attribute of his character, Mork.
That's what I mean, yeah.
On the Happy Days and the show.
That transpired to all that.
Yeah.
That's why he got the gig immediately. He played Mork from September 1978 all the way to May 1982.
I remember when Mork and Mindy was on.
Was it that big?
Yeah, Mork and Mindy was huge.
Yeah.
In fact, the Happy Days was huge
same time.
Yeah, at the same time. And I was telling you the other night when I was saying, back in those days, families gathered into the front room, and the whole family would sit and watch on. It was usually Fridays and Saturday nights and stuff. Would watch shows like Mork and Mindy or Happy Days or Quincy or MASH or something like that.
Love MASH.
My big question about that last segment of your Just the Facts there is A, I wonder who the actor was that quit
originally, yeah,
and B, why? I wonder why the actor quit, because I would think being on a show
at
like
that
Happy
time,
Days, no matter what, of that
big deal.
would be at least a massive amount of exposure.
Substantial, yeah. Like, hey, this is a good opportunity.
And Mork and Mindy was in my opinion was one of those hilariously funny shows when it was new. Now it's like Happy Days when you and I go back now and watch episodes. Yeah. You're going, Jesus, this thing was just corny and campy.
Well, but that you got to expect.
But you have to remember the time period we were in.
Things were a lot different.
And the last few seasons of Mork and Mindy, or the last couple seasons of Mork and Mindy, and the last few seasons
with Jonathan
of Happy Days, they were just awful.
Who was also another great comedian, Jonathan Winters, as well.
Yeah, that was a strange deal that they did in Mork and Mindy with him. That was just a weird deal. But yeah, it was, and what's funny is Robin Williams came back to do sitcom not too long ago.
Yeah.
And I don't think it worked out too well for him. So.
Well, we'll move right along to the next fact here. You remember the movie Batman Forever?
Yeah.
In the 90s?
Yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah. Well, I like it because it was the Batman I grew up with.
Well,
it had
it was...
Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey.
Oh, no, that's
and
the
all
good
that.
one. I do like that one. Yeah, that's a good one. I was thinking of the one after that.
Yeah. So, anyways, although the role went to Jim Carrey, Robin Williams was originally offered the role of the Riddler in Batman Forever. Yeah, so I'm kind of glad it, like,
because Robin Williams would have been older then.
Yeah.
And I'm not the biggest Jim Carrey fan in the world, but he did a great job on that show, man.
Yeah, so next one, back to Mork and Mindy here for a second. Williams was such a great improviser on set that the writers of Mork and Mindy would intentionally leave gaps in the screenplay for him to just fill in at his own
Let him
whim.
improvise.
Yeah, so it soon became the standard of his practice.
Oh, yeah, why wouldn't you? Yeah,
so
the guy was so quick-witted, man.
Well, yeah, and we'll get into more of his background here, too, because it's really amazing some of the stuff he did as a young man leading up into his career, So our next one here, and this is great because I've heard him do this impression a million times. Robin's favorite celebrity to impersonate was Jack Nicholson. And Williams also said the person that did the best impression of him was Dana Carvey.
I've never seen Dana Carvey do it.
He tipped his hat to him about that. So.
I've seen Jimmy Fallon do an impression of Robin, and he did a good job on it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was funny, but I never seen that. I have to look at that. I'll have to watch that.
This last fact is really interesting, and I've always known this because I'm an AC/DC fan. But Williams invented the word Shazbot, an alien curse word muttered by Mork, and they were also the last recorded words of AC/DC singer Bon Scott. At the end of the song Night Prowler on the Highway to Hell album, which was the last song Bon ever recorded, the last words are Shazbot Nanu Nanu.
Now, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I knew this. I've heard the end of the song.
They claim those are the last words.
The last recorded words of Bon Scott. That is weird. I've never heard that.
Yeah. So.
And that I've been around a lot longer than you have, man.
Yeah.
So that is a great song.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, if you don't know the song, listen to it. It's the one that
it's a classic.
Well, it's the one that they labeled Richard Ramirez in Los Angeles in the 80s.
They called him Night Stalker, but they also found an AC/DC hat at a crime scene.
And back in those days in the 80s, they said, you listen to this music, you're going to get in trouble.
Yeah. You're a devil guy.
The guy's a devil guy. He's going to leave. You listen to this AC/DC, you're going to go out and you're going to get yourself in some trouble. And you know what was funny? Is if you listen to the lyrics to Night Stalker, Night Prowler, it's pretty vicious.
It is. It is brutal.
It is about a guy stalking people and murdering people, man.
Absolutely.
So you never know. Maybe there was some truth to that.
I just I knowing the kind of guy Bond was. I bet he was. Mork and Mindy was huge at the time, and he was like, "I'm going to throw that in there at the end."
Which is funny that you say that because when we watched the interview with Bon Scott, when they were
Kiss was.
and they were opening up for him,
he was like the guy with the tongue.
He goes, the guy with the tongue. He's quite famous, and they're like, "It's like Gene Simmons, you clown." But that is funny.
It's Bond though. All right, guys. Before we get right into the spotlight episode, I want to we got some audio for you. We're going to play here. And this is a compilation clip of Robin Williams, just kind of out doing his thing, being Robin Williams. So take a listen here, and we'll be right back.
Are you back in the UK?
It's good to be back, boss. It's interesting, just getting off the plane. As soon as I get off the plane, people start going, "Hello, Wobbin." I went, "Oh, hi, how are you?" Everyone calls me Wobbin, even you, Wobbin. Hello. Well, Wobbin, hi. When did Elmer Fudd get here?
You're so quick and you're so fast, and that,
That's a little bit like a lemur and a puma.
Yes.
Oh, wait, what was that? They kind of function in a lot, oh, you're hurting me. Why? I woke up.
Little Jerry Lewis.
Yeah, ow! Helmaiman Halabas, you mean? Please help now. How much money have we raised? And it doesn't even work in France. If you go to France, there is no Siri, because maybe they have their own. They have Chérie. You go, "Chérie, where's the nearest good restaurant?" "It's Paris, you idiot." They're everywhere. Put down your digital device. Go outside and live your life, you American ass.
A lot of people think Scarface was a little over the top, but anybody who's ever done A Pound of Peruvian Blow knows that is a documentary. That is a very deep chili. Very powerful chili that will make the whole body react and all the chakras be very powerful.
2 tablespoons light brown sugar.
2 tablespoons light brown sugar.
Yeah,
go,
right.
girl. We got brown sugar.
And 2 teaspoons smoked paprika.
2 teaspoons smoked paprika.
1 teaspoon cumin.
1 cumin. Knock, knock, cumin. God, this is nice. For your safety, I have to dress like this. I think it was a little unnecessary to ask for blood and urine, too.
Well, you know, we do.
I was willing to give the sperm, but no. God, I feel like it's a human condom. Pretty amazing.
Where'd you come in from? West Coast America?
Yeah, I flew from San Francisco, and a friend of mine flew on a plane. He was on the plane, and I guess it was Virgin upper class, and all of a sudden the guy took off his trousers to fly. I guess I've never seen that going, that's first class. Hi, how are you? I always love coming here because you've got a little bit of New York back there.
Yeah.
And you have, obviously, a lot of family pictures.
Right.
And a ladder to get up to the next level.
And our park view is over here, Mr.
your
Williams.
park view?
See that? Yeah.
Oh,
Isn't
my
that
gosh. So
amazing?
this is what the Trumps wake up to. And she wakes up to Donald. Good luck. It's all real.
And I went in for a stress test on the treadmill. I was on for 1 minute, and they went, okay, great, that was really good. I think we're going to have to do an angiogram, which is where they put a camera. They go to your heart, but they start by going through your groin.
Oh,
Yeah, and who knew that the way to a man's heart was through his groin? A lot of women are going, I've known for years, darling.
They say there's no racial profiling, but a little woman will come on, a sweet little southern stewardess, and go, ladies and gentlemen, before we get on flat 5, I just want to read off a list of names. These are random bag checks. These are totally random. And I'm just going to read off a list of names. Hassan bin Seen. Hassan bin Laden. Judy Smith. 14 Arabs and a blonde, and every black man and every Hispanic man in the room is going, thank you, God.
No, it's the title kind of is totally ironic, and be very careful. Don't bring the kids, really.
No, I know. No, bring the kids, seriously. 5 minutes in, someone's having an asphyxie wank.
Right. They gotta wonderful way to describe it. Hello, what's your name? Asphyxie wank.
And it's always a difficult thing, because pilots are always, the pilots used to come on with that whole Chuck Yeager rap where they go, hey, everybody, I've just had a few cocktails. Let's take this sucker down to the end of the runway and see what it'll do. Now they come on, they're very loving, and they go, hey, I love all of you. Stewardess comes out and goes, in case of a cabin seizure, a small Louisville slugger will fall from the ceiling. Grab with both hands, aim for the assailant's head, knees, and groin, and keep hitting.
2 days after they had caught Hussein, which was kind of amazing, because when Saddam Hussein came out of that hole, I thought he looked like Nick Nolte.
really? Yeah, well, you thought, hey.
Yeah. I was like, I came on a plane with Sean Penn and walked out, and I took something, and the next thing you know, they're picking lice out of my beard. The ticket takers are the matrons who took the tickets.
Oh, no, that's not concierge. What are they called? The ushers. The ushers.
The ushers. Thank you, I blanked. Senior moment. And these old Irish sailors go, oh, dear God, they're doing pornography on the stage. Pavarotti would never talk about his penis for an hour. My dick is so hard.
Is it true that Winston Churchill was sometimes so drunk that they had a guy from the BBC do some of his favorite speeches?
That's apparently
really?
Been reported.
Really? That's wonderful. The guy who did Winnie the Pooh. So he was going, we will fight them on the beaches, in the air, on the land. Eeyore and Tigger. But God bless her, you have Tony Blair now, sir.
We do.
God bless.
Indeed. And you have President Bush.
Yes. Let's drink a full one.
Saying, though, is, Osama bin Laden, where is he? You didn't get him. He's 6'7" Arab on dialysis. Wandering around making travel videos in Pakistan. It's like he's doing bass fishermen in Pakistan. Here I am by another mountain stream.
A very old Indian joke.
Yeah, you got it. Right.
If you ever want to be in an Indian video, try this. You have to just simply do this. Change the light bulb, change the light bulb, change the light bulb.
Okay. Half a teaspoon instant espresso. Now, that's an odd ingredient, don't you think?
Instant espresso, just to make Dad stay awake all night. So we're crushing that. I'll get the meat ready.
Yep, you get that meat ready.
Who's your daddy?
I know. That's the view I've grown accustomed to.
Yes. Hello! You wanted to see elves. Hello! Meet the twins and Mr. Bob.
I see. Okay, but so you spent some time over there. Did you live in this neighborhood?
I lived, right up the street. I lived when this was no longer. There weren't a lot of Starbucks back then.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
There was just the old, the candy store. Don't touch the magazines, boys.
Get away from there. You're old. Get away from there. Hello, Mr. Finman. Hello. Hello, hairy Gentile boy.
What about the problem of travelling nowadays, the airport security? Do you have
It's a bit difficult now. You know, in the old days, it used to be, oh, get on the plane. Come on, get on the plane. Oh, what's that? Oh, that's a gun. Okay, get on the plane. Now it's hardcore. You know, it's basically they take away everything from. Take away things like nail clippers because that could be turned into a weapon. What do they think? You're going to be going, open the cockpit door! Or the bitch loses a hangnail.
Nice to see you. I'm anxious. Did you watch the debates last night?
It was a good night, actually.
Yeah.
W looked a little thin. It was okay working there.
Right.
Every time he gets a good answer, I think that Karl Rove's going to come out and give him a treat.
Well done. Well, good job.
Thank you. I just want to know, the second debate, that thing where he walked down stage and went, how you doing? Who's he winking at? Like, hey, I know you're there. It's hard to hit on someone in the middle of a national debate.
I have a new application on my phone. It's a moral GPS. It's kind of cool. The girl you're texting is the same age as your daughter. Reroute. People always complain about their phones. They're saying, like, I've only got 2 bars. Listen, I'm an alcoholic. All I've ever needed was 1 bar.
Robin Williams and...
Gracias, amigos. Robin Williams, yo soy Martha Stewart. A la cochina de Martha Stewart. Me salen las carnitas. Bienvenido, amigos. Carnitas.
See. And we are going to try to make today's simple supper a delicious chili rub skirt steak on tacos. And we're going to start...
Students, before we begin the penal reduction... All right, Dave, everything okay? We just brought this in case something happened.
Yeah, so when you finally won, what was it like?
Well, it was pretty amazing. They announced the name, and I was going, and all of a sudden, it's your name, and all of a sudden, your body and your mind goes into slow motion, like... I look out, and there's Jack Nicholson, who's just baked, going, way to go, Rob.
All right, I love that compilation, man. Those are some great clips of his career, different interviews and movie scenes and stuff like that. Another thing I wanted to touch on before we get into his actual background and stuff is they just recently did a movie about him, his last few years of his life, called Robin's Wish.
Yeah,
if you have not seen it, go check it out, man. And especially if you're a fan, it's definitely worth checking out. We'll play the trailer here for you towards the end of the show just so you can hear it, and it's got some pretty touching stuff in it. But today we're talking about Robin Williams, regarded as one of the best comedians of all time. Comedians and actors, I would just say in general.
He was an entertainer.
Yeah, all over the board.
He was totally a comedic genius.
Yeah,
and you know what? As just as high regards as he has from his loving fan base as being a comedic genius, he was also as equally good as a thespian as they can be.
Absolutely. There's some really good scenes that you could think of.
Well, he's done some serious roles that have just been amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. He was born July 21st in 1951, Chicago, Illinois. And he sadly died August 11th, 2014 at the age of 63. He had Lewy body disease.
Yeah, they found that out post-mortem, though.
Yeah, so I think, and that's another reason why we did this show, is it was kind of important to get that message out there. Like, if anybody that's struggling like that, get them checked out.
I wanted to mention that just I know you know this, but the reason that we're doing this Robin Williams spotlight pretty far after his passing is because we both saw Robin's Wish.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like, you know what, we should
talk about him.
We should talk about him. Yeah. You know what, because sometimes time goes by and things get, other things. Look how many people have gone since then.
Yeah. No, and there'll be
we'll
more.
try to catch up.
And there'll be more of these episodes, man. Yeah. I like doing
these are my favorite kind myself. They're good.
Yeah. So Robin went to Juilliard, the College of Marin, Claremont McKenna College. He was active in the career from 1975 to 2014. He did so much work.
And he say like just in passing by, he went to Juilliard.
Yeah.
So prestigious of a
And the thing is, did you know at Juilliard that they told him in his time there, they were like, you need to focus more on your stand-up comedy than your acting.
Oh, did they really?
And look at what he became. You know, that to me is like, I love hearing stories like that of them telling him, you know, you need to do this.
And the people that he went to Juilliard with and stuff like that's amazing.
Well, he hung out with Christopher Reeves. They were really good friends.
They were dear friends.
Yeah, so
absolutely.
Did you also know that when Steven Spielberg was making Schindler's List, Robin would call him on the phone every day to lift his spirits up because of the movie
being so
subject
down.
matter?
I saw Schindler's List so long ago, but it was a very dark movie.
Yeah, so I mean that's the kind
very
of guy.
Dark subject.
Kind of guy he was though, man. So he was married 3 times. The first wife, Valerie Velarde, from 1978 to 1988 for 10 years, and then Marcia Garces from 1989 to 2010, and then Susan Schneider from 2011.
That's the lady that's in. That's the woman that's in Robin's Wish. Yeah,
absolutely. And I would commend her for making that movie, man. It was really
it's a good movie. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's worth seeing.
Absolutely. He focused more on observational, improvisational, physical, and political satire, self-depreciation, and surreal humor. You know, that area.
Yeah, he was great.
He could do anything, really.
His improvisational skills. I've been in improv classes and stuff before.
That's right.
Are just amazing. So, I mean, it's just...
For anyone to be able to turn something into, you know...
Well, you used to see him do it on the late-night shows and stuff, and talk shows where he would fall into a character of some kind.
Johnny has been known to say he was one of the best interviews you could have as a TV host.
You never knew what you were going to get.
Yeah.
The Craig Ferguson one we watched the other day, he seemed to really like Craig Ferguson.
They seemed to gel really well.
And you never really seen a bad interview with Robin Williams, so it was really good.
His first starring film role was Popeye.
Yeah, it was his first starring one. Yeah. You ever seen the movie Popeye?
I remember seeing bits and pieces.
It's
of
horrible.
It. Yeah, it's pretty.
But
pretty bad.
He knew it was, and he came out and he
just did it. Yeah.
He bashed it himself. But when it came out, that was like the very first that I can remember in my lifetime. Adaptation
like live action
of a live action cartoon. I can't remember anything else before that.
That's true.
And I'm not saying it is definitely without.
So it was like 1980 or something.
It was early. Yeah, it was early. And when it first came out, people were like, geez, this sounds like it's going to be something really good. It's just when you sit down to watch the movie, the movie was pretty. It was 1980. It was pretty bad, and it had Shelley Duvall in it too. Who was
after The Shining.
After The Shining, her life has not turned out so well in the near future.
Yeah, which is a sad story.
That's a sad story on its own. Yeah.
Robin was also nominated for 4 Academy Awards, a Best Supporting Actor in Good Will Hunting, 2 Primetime Emmys, 6 Golden Globes, 2 Screen Actors Guild Awards, and 5 Grammys.
5 Grammys.
Yeah, so...
Do you remember when he sang Blame Canada on the Oscars?
I don't
Blame Canada won an Oscar.
Did it?
Or was nominated. I'm not sure if it won or not. Wow. And he came out and remember the song Blame Canada from Bigger, Longer, Uncut?
Yeah, from South Park,
That's 2 underrated songwriters right there.
That's amazing. Another thing I wanted to touch on with Robin, and they touch on this in Robin's Wish, he did a lot of USO work with the veterans and stuff, and he went over to Iraq and stuff like that and hung out with these men during combat and stuff, and it got into... he was over in active war zones doing shows for these men and women and stuff.
Very
commendable.
Yeah. I like the parts in the movie where they talk about how personable he was with his neighbors and stuff. I mean,
out walking his dog, talking to people. And
he would hang out at the same restaurants. I mean, and Robin Williams was a megastar.
Yeah.
I mean, he couldn't get any bigger.
You
couldn't. It'd be like sitting there eating a pizza and having...
Mick Jagger walking,
or Clint Eastwood or somebody.
Absolutely, that level.
On that, it's that level. Yeah,
absolutely. And he just seemed like such a down to earth guy.
Yeah, he did.
He seemed outside of everything. He didn't want to portray like I'm a rock star.
I always felt bad when Lance Armstrong because he was such a huge fan and supporter of Lance Armstrong. When all that, when that house of cards fell apart, that it was just
a shame.
Which I never really thought Lance Armstrong did anything that probably 90% of the other cyclists were already doing. He was an American.
It was just magnified.
And the French don't like to see Americans win. It's just a rule of life.
He was just magnified.
It was magnified, yeah.
Some of my favorite Robin Williams stuff moments is I'm a huge Johnny Carson fan.
Oh, absolutely.
He was one of the greatest guests on The Tonight Show. I think him, Carl Reiner, Jonathan Winters, those kind of guys.
Burt Reynolds.
Don Rickles, those were great guests to have. And Robin really, they even said, like Johnny had been on record saying, when you have a guy like Robin come on your show, you invite him on your show, you just get out of the way.
Yeah, let him do it. Johnny was a good setup guy.
So, then...
Wonder what Ed thought of him.
Oh, man, this kid's wild,
This guy is, hey, Johnny, I think this guy might be on some of the dope or something.
Yeah, some drugs. But, he struggled with that kind of stuff. But
well, that's all right. Like I said, there's no reason to bring up the negativity in his life, man.
Absolutely.
He's paid his price.
So what do you have?
I just wanted, first of all, let me just touch this right here.
Yeah.
When you talk about some of his good, some of his best work.
Yeah.
If I had to pick one single part or piece of his stand-up routine.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I always remember this, and this by far my favorite that he ever did was the story he talks about inventing golf.
Oh, yeah.
That is he goes, I'm going to put it with a crooked stick, and we're going to call it a stroke because you're going to think you had a stroke, and you do this once. Fuck no! We do it 18 fucking times. That is the greatest routine I have ever heard on anything.
I always enjoyed the one live from the Met where he talks about alcohol, marijuana, and coke and all that stuff. And just
that's
does
a good
all the
one.
Different,
But I think if you were to take and make a top 10 or top 20 of iconic, legendary comic routines by iconic, legendary. I think that routine about golf would be in the top 3, if not the top 5.
Yeah.
Because you've got the mud bones from Pryor, you got that from Robin, you've got, the...
Anything I'm trying to think. Kinnison.
Yeah, the Manson family thing or the World Hunger thing from Kinnison. Sam and... Robin Williams, I don't know. We were at a comedy club when Sam Kinison was first starting out.
Yeah.
And Bob Seger and Robin Williams were in the crowd.
That's crazy.
Because they co-financed his first...
I have that record.
Sam's first album.
Yeah, I have that record. If you look on the back, he thanks both of them.
Yeah. Now, what I was going to do is I just wanted to touch a little bit. I'm a money, finance kind of guy.
Yeah.
And in certain ways I am.
Yeah.
I sell stuff for a living, so I understand numbers a little bit with a calculator.
Yeah.
These are his top 3 grossing movies that missed Doubtfire in today's market, in today's adjusted, for inflation, $723 million.
Wow.
Now, I saw the movie, so I've only seen it once, and I liked it. It was funny.
Yeah.
It had a James Bond in it that wasn't playing James Bond.
Yeah.
It was okay. I don't think you'd get away with making that movie now.
No, not today's, but it's still a beloved movie.
Yeah, it is. It's a classic, and then The Night at the Museum, the first one.
Oh, I love those movies.
I never saw the second
They're
and third
both
one.
great movies.
I'm going to touch on this a little bit in the very near future here. A Night at the Museum in today's market, which those movies aren't that old, so it wouldn't be that different, $575 million.
Wow.
Here's one that you might not get. The third highest grossing Robin Williams movie. What do you think it is?
What number? Third?
Third.
Flubber.
No.
What?
That's a good chance.
I remember that movie being big.
Yeah, and the real one was the Absent-Minded Professor from Disney. So it was
wow.
But no, it's a movie called Hook.
Oh yeah. The Peter Pan one.
Now, these are three of the
I forgot all
many
about that
roles
one.
that Robin Williams played.
That's the thing.
Out of those 3 movies, those movies brought in. That looks close to $1.8 billion.
Oh my God!
Over his career, his movies generated. Hold on to your hats. Almost $6 billion.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, and then I just wanted to touch on some of his lesser known kind of roles, and maybe some stuff like there was a movie he did called Insomnia with Al Pacino.
Yeah,
where he played a serial killer.
Yeah,
way out of what he normally did.
But see, that's what I like about Robin.
Yeah,
he would do stuff like that.
And now I've seen Insomnia. It's not the greatest movie in the world. It's not complete horseshit, but
you like it, right?
It's okay. It's kind of hard to watch because, to me, Pacino over the last 20 years or 25 years, his roles have been so hit and miss. Now, Robin Williams in the movie is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Because he plays a great crazy person, man. As why wouldn't he?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like an evil crazy person. Yeah. But anyways, it's a decent movie to see. 1 hour photo.
Okay.
Which I don't know if, I mean, you know, those don't exist anymore, but that was another movie where he played kind of a weird dude, you know?
Yeah.
And it was, you know, and then there was a small role he did in a movie with Andy Garcia, and I was trying to think of it. I think I was telling you about it, and I finally figured out what it was. The movie is called Dead Again.
Okay.
And he plays like a shamed or shunned psychiatrist who was having an affair with a couple of his patients, and they yanked his medical his psychiatrist license, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, now he's working at a warehouse, in a meat warehouse or something. But he's giving advice to the Andy Garcia, and it's actually a really decent movie. And then I just kind of wanted to touch on a couple ones that I've seen that were really good.
Yeah,
The Final Cut.
I know
which is a really good movie. It's about him.
It's a good idea too.
He's an editor that you know you're implanted with a chip that records your whole life.
Yep.
And when you die, they pull the chip out, and he was the editor to show at your memorial service.
Yeah.
It's worth seeing. And then his very last movie, which was kind of a weird movie. And I've only seen bits and pieces of it. It's called Absolutely Anything.
Okay.
So it's if you want to see him in his very end, you know, where he had to really struggle according to that Robin's wish, you know, to do it. But then I wanted to go over, if you don't mind, my personal top 3 Robin Williams movies.
Let's do it.
And my number 1 top is not. I don't have any of the. I liked the Jumanjis. I liked, you know, his big movies.
Yeah.
Like anybody else would. But there's 3 movies that really resonate with me that I really, really like that Robin Williams was in. My first one is a movie called Cadillac Men.
Okay.
Where he plays a car dealer that's in debt with
a used car guy or something?
Yeah, well, they sell high-end cars.
Oh, okay.
And it's really worth seeing. And then Tim Robbins comes in and he believes that one of the guys at the lot's having an affair with his wife, and so he takes the whole car dealership hostage, and Robin Williams is his negotiator between him and the cops outside. It's funny.
Wow.
And it's got a great storyline, and Robin Williams gives a top-notch performance, in my opinion.
Wow.
My second one was probably his second or third movie he ever did, which is to this day still one of my very favorite Robin. It's a movie called The World According to Garp.
See, I've heard about that one.
I've always loved that movie.
It's book too.
Yeah, and it tells a really great story about his activist mother.
Yeah,
you know, she rapes a guy in a hospital bed to get pregnant. No, not rape. She said, I don't know. But today's standard to be called rape.
Yeah.
In the movie, she has sex with a comatose air fighter pilot, and then that produces Garp, which is her son, and it just goes through his life's journey. It's a great movie.
Wow.
It's a really good movie. And then my last one is that one I was telling you about, the one where he plays the editor. I thought that movie, The Final Cut, had...
Yeah.
And
I remember seeing it.
You know, probably because there's so much stuff that comes out of Hollywood these days that's so repetitive.
Exactly.
You know, it's either a reboot, remake.
An original idea.
An original idea with a decent cast in it, man.
It's a breath of fresh air, yeah.
It's like you said, it's like opening a breath of fresh air there, man. But that's about all I had in all that there. So
we have been mentioning Robin's Wish, so we're gonna do everyone a favor, and we're gonna play this trailer for that movie, the audio for it, obviously, because this is audio format. So listen to this trailer, folks, and we will be right back to finish up the show.
What's your brain doing when 10,000 people are laughing their heads off?
I'm not a tuna!
The human brain is, an extraordinary 3.5-pound gland.
Go get him, you little crazy guy. Good night, Alice.
The moment you think you understand it, it comes out with something else.
The breaking news: actor Robin Williams is dead at the age of 63.
They believe that the Bay Area resident committed suicide.
There was a lot of media speculation
On Robin Williams' mind before his death, money.
He's broke, or he's depressed, or he's just given up.
The last movie was clear to all of us on that set that something was going on with Robin.
There was something eroding within him.
I was called in to go over the coroner's report. It was the beginning of understanding what had really gone on. My husband had unknowingly been battling a deadly disease.
Lewy body dementia is a devastating illness, increases anxiety, self-doubt, causes delusions that have never been present in someone.
Nearly every region of his brain was under attack. He experienced himself disintegrating.
I remember him saying to me, I don't know what's going on, I'm not me anymore.
It really amazed me that Robin could walk or move at all. People who are incredibly brilliant can tolerate degenerative diseases better. Robin Williams was a genius.
He was always able to power through it, and he'd become this guy that you knew, remembered, and loved.
The way that he was able to battle the inner turmoils, he was a freaking warrior.
It no longer feels loyal to be silent about it, but maybe more loyal to share.
He was blessed with what his heart was capable of. In the midst of fear, he wanted to help people be less afraid.
Self goes away, ego, bye-bye. The thing that matters are others. That's what life is about.
That is such a great movie. I highly recommend seeing it. As Robin's Wish. Check it out. You can get it on Amazon, basically anywhere you can stream stuff. You got any final thoughts, Lee, before we get out of here?
Yeah, just a little bit here. There's some movies that I know that you guys are thinking, hey, this, his best movie was Dead Poets Society or Good Will Hunting or Aladdin. Jumanji, Patch Adams.
They're all fantastic movies.
I got to be completely 100%. Honest. A lot of them I haven't seen. And after doing this with my son here, Andrew, I'm gonna make it a pointed effort to see more of those movies.
They're great movies, yeah.
Because I'm looking at his list here. Like, I've never seen Awakenings, and it's got De Niro in it. It's got to be good.
Oh yeah.
I seen The Fisher King, another kind of a underrated movie. He plays a great crazy person in it.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of robots.
Oh no, there's a ton of them. He did so much work, and the Jack's a great movie.
So, like I said, that's in my closing thoughts there. That's all I really have to say is that, give some of the stuff that doesn't get the limelight as much as,
Absolutely.
Give it a try. You might find something you really, really like.
Well, folks, we thank you for joining us today, whatever time you're listening to us, at this time in your life. Thank you for letting us into your home or your life for the day. Take care of yourself, take care of your friends and family, and we'll be back with another episode, and we're going to play a little closing out quote from Robin for the show. We will see you next time. We bid you a great night. Take care.
As we come to the end of this phase of our life, we find ourselves trying to remember the good times and trying to forget the bad times. And we find ourselves thinking about the future. You start to worry, thinking, what am I going to do? Where am I going to be in 10 years? But I say to you, hey, look at me. Please, don't worry so much. Because in the end, none of us have very long on this earth. Life is fleeting. And if you're ever distressed, cast your eyes to the summer sky when the stars are strung across the velvety night, and when a shooting star streaks through the blackness, turning night into day. Make a wish. Think of me. And make your life spectacular. I know I did.